Hello, 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 everybody. Come on into the craft room. I'm your girl, Caron, your ATX Stampin' Lady, and I am happy to be with you here on this ridiculously cold, the girl, Alexia, or Lexa. She's telling me it's 25 degrees. Y'all, 25 flipping degrees here in Austin, Texas. But anyway, that's for another story, okay? Excuse me. So come on into the craft room. It is the first roll of the die of 2020. So January 2020 roll of the die. You guys, if you're not familiar with what roll of the die is, hey, there's an echo still. I have everything turned off. Hold on. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Girl, I got everything turned off and I have no idea why. Okay, here we go. How's that? Is that better? Is that better? I hope that's better. Let me know if you can hear me. No echoes, none of that stuff. Just let me know. I think we should be good now. All right, but come on into the craft room, you guys, and I'm excited to get started with you. Like I said, I am Caron Bailey. I am an independent demonstrator here in Austin, Texas, freezing Austin, Texas today. And I am here with you to share. Oh, thank you, Michelle. Thank you for being there and letting me know. To share with you projects that we are going to create today featuring the elements rolled from the die last month. Now, let me tell you what the elements were last month, and then we'll just start going, okay? So the elements last month were paper piecing. Well, no, yeah, paper piecing, in color, thread ribbon, congratulations. I always forget them. I don't know why. Oh, and Slimline. Ha ha ha. And Slimline. And then we added a sixth element, and that was to create your own pattern paper, or DSP, for designer series paper, which is what Stampin' Up calls them. So those are the 6 elements that our projects had to incorporate for today. I'm excited to share with you, and I'm gonna get started real quick because it's a 2-pronged project for me and it might take a little bit of extra time, and so I just want to jump right in to get the project started. All right, so give me one quick minute. So anything that I'm sharing with you tonight, and you see something that you'd like to see, please don't hesitate to shop using our host code for the month, as you see on the screen. For any order that's $149 or less, please use the host code. Anything $150 or more, please contact me. I would love to help you get those rewards that only you can get by spending $150 or more. All right, so let's get our going. All right, so the projects that I'm going to work with, let me put this here so I can get rid of that glare up there. Okay, so the projects are the stamping projects that we're going to be using today is going to come from the new January to April mini catalog. And y'all, we're in the midst of celebration, so and not just from this catalog, but any purchase that you make between now and February 29th that is $50 or more, for every $50 you spend, you get to choose an item from the celebration catalog. And y'all, for whatever reason, I have no idea where my celebration catalog is. I will find it. I will post it. I will get it to you. So for today's project, we are working with the Stippled Roses bundle. And it is found on page 64 of the January through April catalog. Okay, so that's what we're working with today. I don't know how you're gonna paper piece out of that, right? I don't know. We'll see. Let me share with you the other parts and projects that we're using today. So for our in colors, we are using Wild Wheat, Boho Blue, and Parakeet Party. Yes, Parakeet Party is still part of the in color session. And then I'm adding a little bit of fresh freesia as an accent to the project, okay? But our in colors are, as you see here, Parakeet Party, Boho Blue, and Wild Wheat. What else are you going to need for today's projects? You guys, you're going to need, we're going to need the Stampin' Up! Scoreboard or the trimmer with the score if you need to. And let me share with you the parts and pieces. We are going to create our own envelope for our mini Stampin' for our Slimline card. So that's also part of our project. So our parts and pieces, our card base, our Slimline card is 7.5 by 7.5 by 8 3/4. As you can see there, I'm getting smarter on this, guys. Take a look at the bottom right hand of the screen. You'll see the measurements for the card base, and it is 7.5 by 8 3/4. And on the 7.5 side, you're going to score at 3 3/4, and that'll give you an exact half. We put that aside for now. We're also going to need some cardstock. Let me get rid of that. I'm not as smooth, you guys, yet, and I don't have an assistant or a monitor that can help me do this. So bear with me as I try to get you guys everything that you need to create this card. All right, so for our basic white panel, we're going to need one panel that is 3 by 8 inches. And then we're going to need another panel that is 3.5 by 8.5. We're going to need one for the inside of our card. And I believe we stuck to 3. No, this one's 3 1/4 by 8 1/4. Okay, I didn't put that in there. But you're going to need a piece for the inside that's 3 1/4 by 8 1/4. Okay. Our matte color is a Starry Sky. Starry Sky is another in color. We're going to need one that is 3 1/8 by 8 1/8, and that's going to mat on this piece right here, like so. We're going to need a piece that is 3 3/8 by 8 3/8, and that's going to go on the inside. And then we're going to need another piece that is 3 5/8 by 8 5/8, and that's going to be another matte layer. So we're going to do what's called double time stamping today. That's going to be our technique. And if you're not familiar with double time stamping, it's typically triple time stamping. That's typically what most people do. But I'm just going to do double time stamping today. And this is how we are going to create our DIY pattern paper. Okay? So what we want to do is we want to line this up, the smaller piece on our bigger panel, and we want to line this up with removable or repositionable tape, okay? Because this is only a temporary hold for us while we do our stamping. So I'm just going to do a couple of lines just like so and de-stickify it just a little bit because I don't want it to be completely sticky, okay? I'll turn this over, and then I'm just going to layer this right on here where I would like for this to be. Okay. Now, grabbing the largest, I didn't share with you the stamp set, right? So this is the Stippled Roses bundle or stamp set. And the dies are also in this package, right? So we're going to start with, typically when I create my own pattern paper, I generally will almost always start with the largest image that I'm going to use. I generally start with that image. So we're going to start with the biggest image and then move down to the next images, okay? So I'm starting this off with Boho Blue. And because of the size of this stamp, you guys, well, while I'm at it, Michelle, how's the lighting? Is the lighting okay? Do I need to add more light for you guys? All right, so with this project, right, because the stamp is so large, it's much easier to take the pad to the ink stamp, or to the ink pad, or to the stamp, to make sure that you have good coverage. That's the only way you can, not the only way, you can see it, but you can definitely tell if this way what needs to have more ink or where you need to add, okay? So we have this one. And you guys, there's no rhyme, there's no reason. You just want to make sure that you have good coverage, okay? Now, the beauty of this rose pattern is that this rose pattern, the stamp can go, you can use this in any orientation, whether your card is going to end up being landscape or portrait style. Now, you want to make sure you add good pressure on this because you do have this little bit of a separation line here. So you do want to make sure you have good coverage on your stamp. Okay. I could have done a little better there, but hey, it's all good. How's everybody doing on this cold day? What's the weather like in your area? I already told you it's 25 degrees here. Y'all, we in Texas here, we're kind of freaking out a little bit. We just don't, those numbers don't compute in our language. No, sir, no, sir. No way, no how do those compute. They do not. Oh, goodness. It's snowing. Do you like the snow? All right. And then we're just going to go ahead and take a little snip right down at this end right here. Now, you guys, I'm working on the 38. How do you guys get to be 38 degrees and we are 25 here in Texas? I don't understand. Anyway, so, excuse me. So we have this image. And there we go. Now let's clean this off and put that away, and then we can move on to the next stamp, okay? I should probably keep this out. My little scrubbing mat here. I know, and guess what? I am going to go ahead and brave this weather a little bit later tonight. Because I'm going to meet up with my sister and we're going to go watch The Beekeeper. Yes, I know, right? All right, so the next thing we're going to come on in here and do is we're going to take the next largest image, and that's going to be the leaf image. And I'm going to work with this one. I'm going to start with the wild wheat first on this one. I'm going to do this leaf in 2 colors, but I'm going to start with wild wheat, or the branchy leaf, or whatever you want to call it. Now you can do the same thing here, is make sure you put ink pad to stamp. Or vice versa, like I just did. Okay. Now, yes, you can use, I'm using the glass, Stampin' Up! Glass Mat Studio. And you guys, yes, you can use that completely 100%. It's not necessary to use the grid paper. But I have found that for me, my preference is to use the grid paper. Just because I don't like having to clean off. I know, I just don't like having to clean off the mat. But again, it's personal preference. You could do this without the aid of grid paper. Okay. Now, when I'm starting, I'm making it very a conscious effort to not overlap any of the images just yet. Okay. So all I'm doing right now is filling in, excuse me, where I need to add images. Okay. But eventually I am going to cross some of the images. But for now, I am definitely making a conscious effort to not cross my images. I'm making sure I clean this off because I'm going to go right back in with the Parakeet Party with this leaf. I want to brighten it up just a tad. And what I'm doing with this is I am creating, again, my own designer series paper, y'all. Or my own pattern paper. Oh, I missed a color. You guys, I did another color in here. Moody Mauve. All right, so we're going to just add a little bit of the Parakeet Party again to the leaf. And if you choose to create this card, you can use whatever colors you choose, because this is such a versatile project. Okay. Okay. See how that Parakeet Party just lightened it up just a little bit? And that's the effect I was kind of going for. So it's definitely what I was working towards. Now, if you also notice what I'm doing with this panel, right, you guys, is I'm observing what's called the rule of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And if I can, I'm going to try to get 3 of them in there. All right? May not always be possible, but as you continue to fill things up, you'll see what you can do and where things can fit. And I'm going to put this dude right about here. Perfect. And the last color I'm going to use before Fresh Freesia is the Moody Mauve. I forgot to tell you that in the beginning. Okay. And now we're going to go in with the smallest image, which is the rose. And then we're going to just use this to fill and overlap in some areas. And now is when we're going to do a little bit of the overlapping. And what I'm going to do too is do a little bit of second generation stamping. Okay. And you guys, guess what? We have created our own, I've got 3 already, so I'm not going to do that one. So we've created our own designer series paper. Check that out. Now, if we weren't doing a double time stamped card, we could actually take this, cut this down into card fronts, card panels, and actually create individual cards. But this is all part of our project. So now we're going to gently remove this, because remember we used repositionable tape. And we're gonna grab our, I seem to have a little bit of a crusty edge here. Clean that up just a tad. And I'm just gonna mat our pieces now. And when I added this, I did about 1/8 of an inch border from the basic white panel, okay? If you are just joining me, don't forget to like, share, and comment. Interacting with me gets you an entry into the drawing to win this card today. This is the prize or the giveaway for today for my portion of the hop. Now each of the designers that participate in the hop, and for today, each of the designers that are participating in the hop, and they get to pick and choose whatever they're gonna do for a prize. So for me, my prize is the winner, and that's based on interaction, commenting, liking, and sharing of my page. Gets you an entry into the drawing to win this card. Perfect. Make sure. Outstanding. And then we're just going to put this right back in place. How is that? How does that look, y'all? Now, I'm going to wait for a minute because I haven't decided whether or not I want to, oh, I forgot. Oh, I forgot. This is the step I forgot, but we're going to do it anyway. Haha. We're going to do it anyway, y'all, and we're just going to do it on the top one because I forgot. So the four, I think it's called the four, let me see. This is why I write label stuff on things. This is a four square decorative mask set. And I've been using this one a lot, but I'm going to change this out. I'm going to change it out. And let's see, which one of these am I going to use? I think I'm going to use this one. And I'm just going to add a little bit more texture to this just by lightly adding a little bit of the fresh freesia to it. And you'll see what this looks like, you guys. It'll look, you might think it looks busy, but you guys, this is absolutely gorgeous. Okay. Grab my fresh freesia. And here we go. And I'm doing this in kind of a random pattern. It is randomly. There's no like real right or wrong. I'm not trying to cover the entire panel with it. I just want to give a little bit of a hint of something else in this card, okay? Then we're gonna shift this down. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I don't need it to be perfect. And it is just a hint of the pattern in the, that's it. Let me lift it up so you can see it if you see it. Do you see it? Let me turn this light off. Maybe you can see. Can you see it with, no. Can you see the little hint of the stenciled background? Just adds just a little bit extra oomph to the project. Now, for paper piecing, this was the element that really got me. It really did, because I was so challenged by this. I'm like, I don't need anything else, but I had to have a paper pieced element. So I went into, I think this was Winter Meadow. And I had a scrap piece of the Winter Meadow Designer Series paper. And what I did was, I'm going to go in with the stamp set, the smallest rows, of course, and I am going to stamp, where's my black ink? It doesn't have to be black, I guess. Let me grab the Moody Mauve again. It doesn't have to be black. And I'm going to go right in there and stamp it right over this image. Okay. And you can stamp this anywhere on here. Okay. I'm going to grab my paper snips now. And I'm just going to go right ahead and fussy cut right around this rose. Now the trick about paper piecing is normally you stamp it in a darker color ink, right? And then you want to kind of cut that line off. Oh, I need my light back. Sorry, I can't see. You want to cut in just inside the outline of the shape. Just inside. Has anybody been to see the Beekeeper? I think it was just released this weekend. Kind of like Jason Statham. I used to say his name so wrong because I thought, nah, they spelled his name wrong. I was like, nah, they spelled his name wrong. But I'm like, no, they spelled his name the way he wanted it to be spelled. So I have been calling his last name correctly, Jason Statham. All right. Thank you, Michelle. Now, what colors would you use when you're going to make this card? Boom. All right, so this is all cut out. And what we're going to do is figure out which one of these roses you're going to put this on. Now, I'm going to stay away from the center because I still need to put my sentiment on here. Although, I could put my sentiment anywhere on here. Hey, Kathy, how are you? So I'm going to put my rose about here. I just got to make sure that I line it up right. And that's where this rose would be that I paper pieced. Okay. Be careful with your adhesive, and it's preferable to use liquid adhesive. Wait, I just picked this up. There we go. And now we have one little blue rose instead of the mauve one, okay? So that's how we're going to take care of that. All right, now the last thing we have to do is we have to get the congratulations here, because that's the sentiment that we need to do. So let's go ahead and build this card. Let's get the inside done. I've gone ahead and I pre-stamped the large rose image. on the inside. This is second generation. I stamped off. And now I'm gonna, and this was the 3 1/4 by 8 1/4, and we matted it. We're gonna mat it on a 3 5/8. No, 3 7/8, I think. No, 3 1/4, so it would be 3 5/8 by 3 5/8. If I'm telling you any wrong measurements, you guys, I will definitely correct it in the blog. And as always, I will have the blog. Give me about 48 hours. I should say 72 hours because, you know, things take me forever. Purple something. What's purple something? All right. And we're just going to add our inside. So our inside panel is complete. All right. And now I'm trying to decide here. I think what I'm going to do, yeah, blues and purples are typically where I start a lot of my projects. My favorite colors are purple. Starts with blue first, of course. Blues and purple are my favorite colors. Okay, try to make sure we line things up. There we go. And I'm gonna use some foam sheet. To pop that on the card base. Can you imagine how many dimensionals I would have used if I was going to use dimensionals? Oh my goodness. Perfect. Y'all, we still have an envelope to make, okay? So I'm trying to get through this really quickly so we can go ahead and make the envelope. I promise you, you're going to love it. Okay, so there we have our front and our inside. We still have to do our sentiment. And let's see, what am I going to do with my sentiment? Grab this one. My VersaFine Claire. And I need a piece of basic white. And again, this is just scrap, y'all. No rhyme, no reason. Whatever your sentiment is going to be, that's kind of what you need to keep it at. But I'm going to go with this one. And I'm just stamping congratulations. Okay. Now again, the products, oh my gosh, that I'm using. My in colors are Wild Wheat, Boho Blue, Moody Mauve, and Parakeet Party. I've also used Fresh Freesia. The stamp set is the Stippled Roses bundle. Looking for my spoon here. Here we go. The stamp set is the Stippled Roses. And the Stippled Roses bundle in the Stampin' Up, in the, not the Stampin' Up, in the Celebration catalog, there is a coordinating free with $50 purchase designer series set. And I forgot to share that with you. I'm going to share that with you in just a little bit. So you did not have to create your own designer series paper. I chose to, it was part of the elements that were rolled, so we had to do that. Okay? All right. All right, so now I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do, and I'm looking for a punch. And I hope this one will fit. This is a tailored tag punch. Unfortunately, it is a retired punch, but I think it just might work very well. Oh no, we'll cut it off. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that because we don't want to cut anything off. It's too big. One of the things when our punches retire, you guys, I generally do not get rid of my punches. I do a lot of sentiments. I do a lot more punching of my sentiments than I die cut. Oh my gosh, that's too short. All right, so here's what we're gonna end up having to do. Let's grab our trimmer, and we're just gonna make our own. We're gonna make do with our trimmer. Okay. And what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to see from the last letter about what do I have. So I have about 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to line it up this way as well. So here, and then I'm just going to make sure that I have about 3/4 of an inch on that side. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to take a 1/4 inch off the bottom here. Just about a 1/4 inch. Do the same on the other side. That's about a 1/2. Let's line this up. That's too much. So now we are working with a piece that is about 1 inch by 4, 3 and 7/8. That's what our piece is. And that's important because I'm going to go 1 1 inch, so 1 1/8. And this should be 4 inches. Okay, so we also have our matte layer there as well. Okay, so I'll make sure this is going to do what I want it to do. So it's going to banner. This is an older punch, again another retired, and I'm just going to stick this in here, line it up, make sure I don't cut my words off. Banner it. Do the same. Banner it. And that was just some guesswork, y'all. Total guesswork. Okay. Then what we do here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to now adhere this and yes I could, but all I'm going to do is adhere it down and then fussy cut my banner where I need for it to be. Okay, let that dry for a second while I put my little pin back in here. Again, I do not get rid of my punches because I need them. It's just almost always easier for me to reach for a punch than it is for me to break out my dies. I don't know why. All right. Oops. Now we're just gonna make our little flag here right in the center. We already know where a center should be because we're gonna line it up right on the punch that's already there. Snip from one end and snip from the other end. Okay, oops. Do the same on this side, although I didn't leave myself much on this side. So that's not going to look really good, but hey, it is what it is. It'll be my own little banner. I did not leave myself much room on that side. All right, and so now this is done. And then all we're going to do, oh my goodness, we're going to have to trim this off anyway. That's what happens when you forgot that your piece was 3 inches, was 3 by 3 1/4, right? 3 3/4, not anything in the 4 inch range. But that's okay. You know we can make stuff like that work anyway. And then we get to the envelope. Because of course, you can of course put this card in a, I think it's a number 10 regular business size envelope. But who wants to send this beautiful card in such an ugly wrapping? Now, of course, you can always add designer series paper to that to make it something different and something unique as well. Yeah. Let's make sure we're straight here. I'm looking at the camera. Y'all, this is how I'm lining this up from the camera. There we go. And it doesn't look that way. I'm going to keep this how I'm going to do this. And then, last but not least, we got to add our thread. And with the linen thread, all I did was I wrapped it a couple times around my fingers, clamped it, and then took a little small piece of string and then added it to the middle and then spread the bands. That's how I ended up with that, okay? Then we're gonna trim our legs. And we have all of the elements complete. We've created our designer series paper. We've used our in colors. We've paper pieced. We have our congratulations. And we have our thread and our ribbon. Boom. And that card is done, y'all. What do you think? This is our card. So we created such a beautiful card. Now we're going to create an envelope that we can send this beautiful card in. And y'all, don't worry about it. I have already created the designer series paper for you. Okay. So here's what our envelope is going to look like. Okay, now again, you can send this in regular envelope, but I've created the designer pattern paper for to create its own special envelope. All right, so you're gonna need for this project, you're gonna need a scoreboard. Now I'm gonna use the Stampin' Up scoreboard. You can use scores with the scoring blade. You can use that. I'm using the scoreboard. All right, so this is an 8.5 by 11. You will just need one sheet of paper in which to do this. And then you're gonna score on the 8.5 side, you're gonna score at 2.5 and 6.5. And I watched this video yesterday to know how to make this card. 2.5 and 6.5. I'm gonna flip it over, and because these are consistent, I'm gonna do it. Wait, what happened here? Oh, they're not the same, so we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna reinforce on this side. Okay, make sure our score line is very crisp. 2.5 and 6.5. Now we're gonna turn it to the 11-inch side, and we're gonna score at 1.5. And then we're gonna score at 1/2 inch on this side, right? 1/2 inch in. So this is 11, and here's our 1/2 inch. We're just gonna do a 1/2 inch score line. And that's all we're gonna need, y'all. Now the next thing is some snips or scissors. And our bone folder, okay? Now, I want to make sure, for me, I need the assist, right? So I'm just going to score and burnish my folds. Okay. It's going to be very minimal waste on this project. Okay, make sure you burnish very well. All right, so let's move this because I'm going to use my grid lines on this glass mat to do what I need to do next. Now, let's go ahead and snip. It helps if you have a long-nosed blade or on your snips or your scissors. That way it helps for you to do your snips evenly. And what I try to do is sometimes I try to score under the fold line, if that makes any sense. So you'll see when on the inside where the mountain is, you'll have like a little raise. You can see you can go on the right side or the left side. I always try to go on the inside when I'm trimming. So on the inside, trim it on the inside. Trim it on the inside. And trim it on the inside. You're going to do that on all four sides. This is definitely soup weather. I am making some soup. It's called a red bean soup. This is what I'm making. And it's in the, I got the Pampered Chef Deluxe Cooking Blender going. It's all set and timed. I put everything in there already for the morning, so I don't have to do anything other than sit back, relax, and wait till it's done, and then have me some hot soup on this 25-degree weather day. Oh my God, can you say 25 degrees again? And that is all the quote-unquote waste that you'll have in this project. All right, so what we're gonna do now is, I'm looking for my pencil. I had a pencil somewhere here that seems to have disappeared. I don't know where these things just disappear to, especially when I just touch them. You know what I mean? There it is. And what I'm going to do is on each side, and this is the top of the envelope. So on the top, I'm going to measure down 1/4 inch on each side. Now, this is why I'm using the grid lines, right? So we know with every line, it's 1/4 inch. So I don't need to bring out a ruler. You can if you want. And then I'm just going to put a mark on the 1/4 inch side here. And I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom side here. Now I say bottom side, but it's only bottom because I flipped the cardstock, okay? Now, from there, we are going to need a straight edge. And we're going to go right from the fold line to this 1/4 inch. We're going to draw a line. And all that is just to show us where we're going to need to snip, okay? Because we need to snip that off. Okay. And then we're just going to do, there's no fancy rules on the bottom side. We're going to miter this just a tad. And we don't even need a marker or ruler for that one. We're just going to freehand that. All right, again, we're going to go on the inside of the line and then just snip that off. And can you guys see that our envelope is pretty much done? I know I see it. I don't know what that is that fell, but something fell. And then we're just going to miter our corners just a bit. And mitering our corners just means that we're reducing bulk. All right, so that's it. Now we're going to grab our score tape. And so what's going to happen is we're going to have this. This is our top, and this is our bottom. Okay, I need to snip this a little bit more. Okay, again, I just want to remove a lot of the bulk. Just a lot of the bulk on the fold line. Okay. There you go. And that's how our card is. We're going to round our corners. I know, you guys, I've taken almost an hour of your time today. Yes, I wanted to definitely bring this project to you. I love it. This is my little caddy for my score tape. And let's just get this done. I'm going to put some right on here, like so. Like that. Then we're going to put some on here, like so. And then once we've rounded our corner, we are just going to put some score tape at the top, but we're not going to take off the backing on that one. Okay? Now burnish our adhesive in. Burnish our adhesive in. Remove. You know, I made this, when I made that the designer series paper last night, I was like, oh my god, I have to make an envelope out of this. I really was hesitating, but there's more paper. Thank you. There is more paper, which means you can recreate another sheet of pattern paper. Now I'm looking for my corner rounder, and we're just gonna round this corner and call this piece complete. That's not it. That's not it. Oops, sorry y'all. Now the other thing you can do with this, where is my corner rounder? There you go. And I always test my things just to make sure that I'm doing them right. And it's what I'm wanting to do. And they're gonna have the effect. See, I don't want to do that because that's a mess. So let me turn it around. I gotta go through and use my punches, because let me tell you, I used another punch today and it just, I mean, I'm going through and I am like cleaning out all of my punches. They're just not working right. All right, let's see what we got here. All right. So I'm going to bring out the We Are Memory Keepers, the crocodile here. And hopefully, hopefully, you can make it as fancy as you want. And here we go. All right, the other thing you should do, or you could do, you don't have to, is use one of your circle punches, a small one, and notch, just a little notch, so that it makes taking it out just a little bit easier. But it is not necessary. Let me put that in there. And you see how that'll fit. I'm gonna have to trim that off. So here's our card today, guys. I hope you enjoyed our project. Here is the cards with the elements that the die rolled. And here is our coordinating envelope. I love this envelope, y'all. I absolutely love this. Somebody's not getting this today, okay? Now, if you are going to recreate this project with me, for me, you guys, I'm going to share a link. I'm going to add a link to one of my Pinterest boards that you're more than welcome to share whatever you have created. And again, don't forget to use the host code if you are going to shop using any of the, with my store, using any of the products that I have used today. Now, let me grab the dies again, y'all, because it is definitely time. So we can see what we've got to do for next month. I don't know why I can never seem to have. Okay. So I'm just shaking this up a little bit. Now what I tend to do is, if I have used an element too many times, because I think we used Slimline last month, we used Slimline this month, so if it comes up again, it is going back in the draw. All right, we've got embellish, we've got a fun fold, we've got friendship, we just paper pieced, and we just used in color, so we're going back. All right, embossing and regals. So for next month, February, we have got to create projects that are fun fold, embellish, friendship, embossing, and regals. And I'm going to add Valentine's or Galentine's. Okay, either one. So there we go, you guys. Have fun. I hope you guys enjoy creating. And if you are not a subscriber to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share my videos. I am still trying to get my channel to at least 300 viewers, subscribers by February, by Valentine's Day. How about we do that? By February 14th, 2024, I would love to be gifted with 300 subscribers to my YouTube channel. You guys, thanks again for joining me. My name is Caron Bailey. I'm your ATX lady, Stampin' Lady here in Austin, Texas. You guys have a great day. Stay warm. Have some soup. And I'll see you next time in the craft room.